I really like this show, but I wish I loved it. And I kind of don't. And welcome to my Safe Gayven. Thank you guys so much for clicking on another video here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking me out, hey, how's it going? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek, and I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk about superheroes, I like to talk about action movies, I like to talk about sci-fi, I like to talk about fantasy, I like to talk about comic books, I like to talk about video games, and I like to talk about black representation and queer representation, or a lot of times the lack thereof in sci-fi fantasy properties. So if that's something that you are interested in, if you're not already, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. But if you are subscribed and you want to support your boy, do me a favor and hit the like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm, get more eyes on my channel, hopefully getting more subscribers to my channel so we can continue to grow the Black Gay Comic Geek channel, because representation equals normalization, and I want to be a prominent movie reviewer here in this YouTube space to bring the queer black perspective, black queer perspective to these movie review channels, because there's a lot of nuance that isn't talked about that I feel like can be brought from my voice. And not just my voice, but other voices too, because when I rise, I'm bringing other people with me. That's why you see people like Fantastic, which I'm like, I wish I knew more. Which, speaking of which, if you are in the comments, if you know more prominent black queer voices, black queer YouTubers, hit me up in the comments so I can have them on the channel, because I'm just like, dang. Because like, even when I go live, I'll be like, why am I the only queer person on the, granted, I love when I go live with Frankie and Ron, but I'll be like, dang, I'm the only queer person on this panel. But anyway, if you've seen my review for Lightyear, which if you haven't, click the link up here. I said in my intro that I'm like so behind on content. Like, I just released my video for Lightyear. I never got a chance to review episode 4 of Obi-Wan, so this is going to be a combination of episode 4 and 5. I still got to do Love, Victor. I still got to do Stranger Things season 4. I still got to do Jurassic World Dominion. There's a new queer show that just dropped on Netflix called Love Bites or something like that, a vampire show. Got to watch and do that. Like, hell, I'm still behind. I didn't do Love, Death, and Robots Volume 3. I still didn't review Sonic 2. So, like, yeah, Love Victor season 3. Like, yeah, I'm behind, so I'm playing a lot of catch up. But despite all of that, thank you all to my Safe Gayven ears for rocking with me despite being behind. But anyway, we are here to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes 4 and episodes 5. And so going into something that I mentioned in the intro of this video, where I said I really like this show, but I don't love it, and I wish I did. And part of that is almost because I kind of feel like this show was made out of obligation as opposed to inspiration, because when in both episode 4 and episode 5, I feel like this show is mostly just introducing elements so they can maybe do a spin-off or maybe answer questions to explain A New Hope or whatever, as opposed to actually making this show because they really love the character of Obi-Wan and want to dive more into his lore. And the reason I say that is because I feel like a lot of things in this show are being run, and part of that is also the hampering of Disney only giving this show 6 episodes. So I'm just like, I don't know why they continue to do that, because every time they do these 6-episode shows, you end up with the same problem over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, where these shows feel like they're rushed and they don't end up to a satisfying conclusion, and you don't spend enough time with these characters. Because when you think about episode 4, and spoilers for episodes 4 and 5, but like the moment where Obi-Wan was walking out of the Imperial Fortress with Leia in a trench coat and nobody noticed, that's when I was like, okay, this is stupid. Now, granted, I still like this episode. I didn't hate it like a lot of other people did, but at the same time, I'm just like, how can you take this seriously? Or there was another moment with Tala, she was fighting the stormtroopers when she got caught, and she just slapped one of them in the head, and they just fell out unconscious, and I'm like, that's not how helmets work. And she's not even a Jedi, so it's not like she used some type of enhanced force chop. She's just a regular person. Like, there's no way if you hit somebody on I don't care how strong you are, if you're hitting somebody on the head with a helmet, like, that's not gonna do anything. And then also, like, other things that don't make sense is if the purpose of the Inquisitors and the Inquisitorius are to find Force-sensitive children and also hunt Jedi, you literally have Reva, and obviously we know what we know about Reva now based on episode 5, but she's still not a good person. And so you have Reva interrogating Leia. She's using her Force powers to do a Force mind trick, a Jedi mind, or I guess a Sith mind, or whatever, an Inquisitor mind trick on Leia, and it doesn't work. And the thing I like, and I do like that also because it goes to show how powerful the Skywalkers are, which includes Leia and Luke, even with Leia being at a young age, because also Leia is more powerful than Luke. And so because of that, it just shows how much more powerful she is than Reva, that she was able to resist, a little 10-year-old girl was able to resist a grown woman with her powers of the Force. And she doesn't even know she has the Force. So imagine how much powerful Leia would be if she got to train. So I like that they inject, like, Reva couldn't penetrate Leia's mind. Put some respect on the name of Leia Skywalker, or Leia Organa, rather. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, if you guys are supposed to hunt Force-sensitive children and you realize that you can't mind penetrate or mind trick this little kid, wouldn't your Spidey sense go off? Instead, she just says, "You're really strong, Leia," and then just drops it after that. I'm like, the math isn't math. The Force isn't forcing here. Like, wouldn't you automatically suspect that she has the Force after that? Like, didn't make sense. And so I do feel like there's a decent amount of those moments happening with regards to the show, because, like I said, I mostly feel like the show was made out of obligation and inspiration, and to also introduce other elements that they probably think are more important. Like, for example, it was just recently announced that Reva is getting her own spinoff. And it almost kind of feels like this show was done just so we can introduce Reva, just so she can get her own spinoff. And I'm still here for that. I like the character of Reva. I want to see more of the character of Reva. I've been saying time and time again, why aren't there more prominent black Force users, especially black women Jedi or Sith or whatever? Again, people that have the Force. Why don't we really see that in the Star Wars? We only have Mace Windu, and then I guess technically Finn, but we never really got to see Finn use the Force in the Rise of Skywalker movies, but they did tease that he has the Force. So I'm definitely here for getting a solo Star Wars property led by a black woman. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I just feel like there's not a whole lot of care put into these characters. Like, again, obligation. It feels like obligation over inspiration. But then also, with that said, the reason, like I did say, because I'm talking about the things that I don't like or the things that I have issues with, I really like this show, and a lot of that has to do with Ewan McGregor and the dynamic and the relationship and the antagonistic relationship between him and Vader. And I wish we got more of that. Not even just him and Vader, but, like, I'm really excited about this, because I've been saying for a while, like, I want to see a solo Vader spin-off series. And, like, Vader is, like, one of my favorite characters in Star Wars canon, period. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. And yeah, even though Vader's a terrible person, but I love me a good villain. A show or a movie or a video game franchise, whatever, is only as good as your villain. And so going with that, I love that we finally got to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker in the show. And obviously, Hayden Christensen's gotten older. You could definitely tell when they went back to show Anakin as a Padawan and he had the Padawan braid. I'm just like, yeah, Hayden Christensen definitely looks older, but you got to forgive all of that. I'm pretty sure they didn't give them the budget to de-age him. But I love getting to see him back as Anakin. I wish we got more of that throughout this series. Like, and obviously I get, like, with him being Vader and him being the mask and the helmet and the outfit, it's hard. And then also, like, it's not even his voice. It's James Earl Jones. Like, you don't want to hear Darth Vader and it not be James Earl Jones. But at the same time, I still feel like they could have showed more flashbacks, or even had dream scene, or even, like, you think about the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi, and The Force Awakens. I said it backwards, but, like, how Kylo Ren and Rey were able to have conversations with each other through the Force. I feel like they should have been able to do that, or they should have did that with, like, Anakin and Obi-Wan, like them having conversations with each other through the Force, and then that way you could show Anakin more throughout the show, as opposed to him just being like, there's so many things that I feel like that I wish they could have did with this show, but at the same time, what they're giving and the relationship that we're getting between, like, I'm still interested, I'm still here for it, I'm still excited about it. But yeah, but it's like we only got one episode left, and the way it ends, I'm like, oh, we got Leia, now it looks like we're going after Luke next. What's gonna happen? But again, it's only one episode. Is there gonna be a season 2? We don't know what's going to happen. Is Reva going to go after Luke in her own spin-off show? Like, obviously, her show is going to be about her hunting Vader, and we know how that's going to go. You know she's not going to get Vader. It's probably going to go the way Rogue One, where she ends up actually dying by the end, because we know it's Luke that takes out Vader, nobody else. But despite not loving the show, I'm still excited about episode 6, and that fight between Reva and Vader, like, I love it. It just goes to show how much more powerful Vader is than even powerful Sith users and other Jedi. Like, Vader took out so many Jedi by himself, and even just the fact that he held that starship with the power of the Force, like, he's one of the most powerful Force users. And then he wasn't even really trying when like, Reva was giving it her all to try to take him out, and Vader was just like, all right. And then he just like, I love to see that fight scene between the two of them, because at the end of the day, Anakin is the chosen one. Anakin is the most powerful, and if he was allowed to continue, he would have been the most powerful Force user ever, even more powerful than Palpatine. But anyway, that's enough of that. Those are my thoughts about these episodes and this show overall so far after we've gotten 5 episodes. But the question is, what did you guys think about episodes 4 and 5 of Obi-Wan? What do you think of the show so far? Do you not like it as much as me? Do you like it more than me? Do you hate it? Whatever. Like, share, comment, interact on this video for the algorithm. And also, if this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. Tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.